Hey guys, it's Beat Up 44 back with another. We're gonna break down the Arkansas Derby today. It's the return of Classic Empire coming off a 2 month layoff, and Cassie's gonna bring you back here in this spot down in Arkansas to see if he can rekindle that 2016 form that we seen where he took down the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Grade One down at Santa Anita Park and the Grade One Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland. Two big wins under Classic Empire's belt. And he came back and made his 2017 debut on February 4th in the Grade 2 Holy Bull, where he finished third behind Irish Warcry and Gunnavera. And after 2 months layoff, Cassie's popping him up here in the Arkansas Derby. So highly anticipated return here to see what he can do and see if he can get back and get his form heading into the 2016 Kentucky Derby. But check out some more horses in here. We're going to take a look at the number 12 horse for Todd Pletcher, Malagasy, coming off a win in the Grade 2 Rebel Stakes. And this horse is not really had many battles and broke his maiden by 15 on a sloppy track at Gulfstream Park back in January, and then come back in February in a $75,000 optional claimer and romped that field by 7 lengths, and then stepped up to the Grade 2 Rebel and set just off a moderate pace. It wasn't too hot and rallied up late to win by 2 lengths over a horse in this field called Sonneteer, which is a maiden for the DeSormo brothers that went off 112 to 1 in that race and finished a game second behind Malagasy. And another horse coming out of that race, which is in here, is Asmussen, trained Untrapped, who finished third in there. And we take a look at Untrapped here, who's going to be the 9 horse. He's an improving type. He's finished second in the Grade 3 LeCompte on a money track down at the fairgrounds back in January, and then he come back in the Grade 2 Risen Star and finished second behind Girvan. And then the last out in the Rebel, where he was third behind Sonneteer and Malagasy. A horse that he said he's a tactical horse. He'll set off, and there looks to be a lot of pace in this race. But Untrapped, he's been kind of stuck in the same race. But looks like he can get the speed to run at in this one. And so he'll be going for Asmussen. He's going to be ridden by Mike Smith getting the mount. So getting a big time jockey there to get on Untrapped. And the other Asmussen horse in here is the 6, Looking at Lee. A horse that breaks not good out of the gate. He's been so far back in his last 4 starts. He was 13 back in the Grade 2 Rebel, 13 back in the Grade 3 Southwest, and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, he was 12 back. And in the Breeders' Cup Futurity at Keeneland, he was 14 back. So this horse leaves himself with a lot of work. But looks like you could get a good hot pace in here. We're looking at Lee. So the 2 horses for Asmussen who like to kind of lay off the pace, seems like they could the pace could set up for them in here. But looking at Lee, leaves himself a lot of work to do. So be interesting to see if he can get off to a better start in this race. And he's going to be coming late. And Doug O'Neill coming in here with another West Coast shipper, bringing him down to the south here. As we all know what happened last week with the IRAP and the Grade 2 Tuelda Bluegrass, where he stunned that field, coming in to Keeneland, 4th out of the Sunland Derby. And IRAP, Doug O'Neill ships him in, and he gets on the lead, and the pace was not hot at all, and got away with slow fractions and took that field down at like 31 to 1. And Doug O'Neill says, why not give it another shot here? He's bringing in Rockin' Rudy, who's going to be rocking from the 1 hole and going to be ridden by Mario Gutierrez. And this horse is shipping in from Santa Anita. His last 2 races were on the downhill turf course at Santa Anita. And Doug O'Neill is bringing him to the south and Gonna roll the dice here in the grade 1 Arkansas Derby. So interesting horse. Not a horse that I would play. I would kind of stay away from it, but you never know with Doug O'Neill. He seems like he can pull strings at the right time. So I wouldn't be surprised if this horse shows up and runs good. And another horse in here, you got the 4 Petrov for Ron Marquette, going to be ridden by Ricardo Santana Jr. This horse, very familiar with the Oaklawn Park track, has 3 out of his 5 races have been at Oaklawn. It's going to be interesting to see if he can take a step up as his last 3. He's ran well, but he just seems to be stuck in the same race and he just can't get over the hump. But yeah, not a horse I would prefer to bet because it just seems like he's stuck in mud. He keeps running the same races, not really improving. And this is kind of a tough field with Classic Empire and Malagasy, 2 tough horses in here. So could be kind of a 12-1 morning line on Petrov. It could be kind of a tough spot for him here as he just kind of seems to be stuck running the same races. So it'll be interesting to see if he can step up in here against this kind of tough field. And I want to get back to the DeSormo horse in here. DeSormo brothers hooking up on Sonneteer, 112-1 in the Rebel, and he ended up getting up for second in there. This horse is a maiden. He's 0 for 9. And the DeSormo brothers going to take another shot with him here in the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby. So it'll be interesting to see what this horse does and see if he can show back up and run another big one for the second race in a row. And a long shot that I love in here, the 3-horse Silver Dust for Randy Morse, going to be ridden by Corey Lanery. And interesting horse who has just had tough luck. Last to win his last race steady. The race before that, he was pulled, and it seems like he's had some tough breaks, but he keeps improving. His works are just the last 3 are just awesome leading up to this race where he was 114/6, and then he come back on March the 31st and 4 furlongs and 48, and then the last one on the 7th of April where he got the 5 furlongs down in 59 seconds. So this horse just seems to keep getting better. And 20-1 morning line, I'm going to be throwing some green down on him, definitely, as I look for him to show up in the exotics. Supers would be a good horse to use underneath on your supers, your tries, and definitely an exacta, as I think he can. I think he's sitting on a big one and will be ready to rock and roll in this spot for Randy Morrison Landry. But let's take a look at the horse Raw Anxious to see get back on the track, Classic Empire. I watched a video on YouTube just a few minutes ago. It was Tom Leach down at Keeneland interviewed Mark Casse, and he seems to be high on Classic Empire, as he says he's training well and looks to be pushing all the right buttons right now. And Casse acts like he's ready to go on the spot, so I look for Classic Empire to show up and find his form of 2016 and be the class of this field. But very interesting race with a lot of horses that are familiar with this Oaklawn Park track. And then you got Classic Empire, a horse that's really, I think, seems to be a cut above the rest of these. With Malagasy for Pletcher, who seems to be improving with every race. And you know how Pletcher gets these 3-year-olds rolling at the right time. And one more horse I want to take a look at is the 11, Conquest Mo Money. Shipping in from the West Coast, coming out of the Grade 3 Sunland Derby, where he finished second and beat IRAP. This horse, 15-1 morning line. I'm not real familiar with the connections in here. The trainer's Miguel Hernandez, and the jockey is Jorge Carino. But interesting horse in here who seems to be getting better with every race, and could see an improve shipping in here. It looks like he could be setting on a nice race, but interesting, intriguing horse at 15-1 morning line. So another one you might want to include on the underneath in your exotics. Wouldn't want to leave him off the ticket. But yeah, Classic Empire making his return after a 2-month layoff. He's going to be my pick in here. 8 to 5 morning line. I feel like you could. I feel like Malagasy is going to be taking a lot of money in here, so you might be able to get Classic Empire at maybe 6 to 5, 7 to 5. So that would be pretty good on him making a return to the track, and I feel like he's going to be ready to rock and roll in here, and should be setting on a big one. So 20 across the board on Classic Empire. Hopefully, I can rebound from my pick in the 12 of Bluegrass last week, which was Plesser's Tappert, who showed up and laid a goose egg. But I look for Cassie and his team to have Classic Empire rekindle the 2016 form and show up big time in here. And I think he'll set the tactical trip. Looks like there's some good speed signed on, so should have a lot of speed to run at. And I think he'll be rolling late, and I think he's going to get up, maybe take this field down by about 2 lengths, maybe 3. And my long shot pick and horse to watch is the 3-horse Silver Dust. Like I mentioned earlier, Randy Morris and Corey Lanerie hooking up in this are on this horse. So I look for him to improve off his last 2 races, the Southwest and the Rebel. So I look for him to get a good, nice trip and set tactical and be coming late and get up and hit the board, maybe in your exotics, and maybe catch a piece of the exacta. But that's my breakdown for the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby this weekend. As we all watched the Derby Trail kind of play out, it's been confusing. You never know what's really going to happen, and we always have horses popping up that we don't expect to pop up. So we might see that again this week, or we just might see a dominant Classic Empire return to the track and maybe rekindle that 2016 form and get everybody talking Classic Empire once again on the 2017 Derby Trail. But that's my breakdown for the 2017 Arkansas Derby. Hopefully y'all liked it and get some good input out of it. But comment below with maybe some of y'all selections and what y'all thinking here. Let me know who you like. But thanks for watching the video, and good luck Saturday betting the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby.